Claudette Colvin passed away yesterday at the age of 86. Yes, yeah. A civil rights legend, an icon, who never fully was able to realize her iconic status. Right. She was it 9 months before Rosa Parks is
at least right.
Yeah, she was one of the she refused to give up her seat in the Montgomery bus boycott. She was arrested. She was charged with 2 counts. She was 15 at the time. It was a very complicated story. I know Professor Dyson knows as much better than I do. Talk to us about who Claudette Colvin was and why she matters, and maybe should have mattered more.
Right. I mean, she was a young woman. And let's cut right to the heart of the matter. There's a lot of, controversy about whether or not she was cussing, whether she was pregnant and all that. Let's just say, even if she was, it shouldn't have made no difference. Even if she was cussing, it made no difference. She would be perfectly suited for now. Claudette Colvin would have, she'd have been on social media, dog. She would have blown up.
You'd have been killing her.
Oh my God. I mean, y'all talking about Glorilla and Sexy Red and all these people and she was irreverent in the best sense of that word. Because she kept it real. And she should be able to cuss. Heck, Kamala Harris, her favorite word, mother, what. So the thing is that Claudette Colvin was keeping it real, right? She was more Shaniqua than Joanne. And that was the beauty of her, the class element. Because as Robin Kelly talks about in his book, Race Rebels, Black people were using buses to colonize creatively emancipatory space, by which we meant that we trying to use this bus to assert our legitimate standing as citizens. And sometimes we talk loud to get into oral space, the ear space of white folk, to disturb them, to mess them up, to challenge them, and to use our voices, our bodies, and all that stuff. And Claudette Colvin, as a 15-year-old, was doing all that in a brilliant fashion. But because of the politics of respectability, and let me say this, so, because usually when we talk about the politics of respectability, we're apolitical or at least dehistorical or ahistorical about it. The thing is that let's not pretend like it didn't make no difference, right? It ain't right. I don't care what your situation is. So we know many white people who are pregnant and far more complicated in their own particular lives. In fact, I know a story in the Bible. I don't know if you've heard about it. This young woman was pregnant. It wasn't impregnated by her man, and he wasn't her husband. So he had her baby daddy. And they went to this manger, and then they had this baby. I don't know if y'all heard that story. One of the hits was on that level. Okay.
But see, that's the thing. I mean, I understand it kind of dovetails with this church conversation. Is we made Rosa Parks the mother of the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks made extraordinary sacrifice. She became the face of the civil rights movement. Yet Claudette Colvin, this 15-year-old girl who we believe was pregnant, was not allowed to be the face of it. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't just that the media didn't pick up on it. There was a coordinated effort to make sure that she wasn't the face of the civil rights movement.
Of course, and the necessity of not making her the face of the movement is itself an index of white supremacy, because what they're doing is they're doing like this. We can go forward and say, God darn it, this woman should be able to be the face of our movement. So it's half Black respectability politics, by which we mean Black people trying to adhere to values, ideals, and institutions that they think will be accepted in the face of white folk. And why do you think white folk care about your value when they don't care about your body? When they don't even want you in their schools, and they're trying to, evaporate you, eviscerate you, and destroy you. So that's the irony of Black respectability. Why would an argument about your fundamental decency make a difference to people who hate you because you're Black and want to kill you anyway? So we got to acknowledge that. On the other hand, it is the real world in which we live, that white folk can do it, Black folk can't. They can have babies and do stuff and still be seen as great. So, say, for instance, they were a first lady, just as an example. I'm making this up. Say you were a first lady and you were an immigrant, and you had a checkered past where you had, appeared in magazines nude and naked and stuff. And then versus, I know it's just ridiculous. It's ludicrous that we would think that. So the thing is that, say you had that kind of person, and then you had a Black first lady. Let's just say we had a Black first lady in this country who showed her arms, and people went bananas. Oh my God, what is she doing? I can't believe it. We know that double standard exists. So we can't pretend that if we're trying to put forth a movement back in 1955, or that was going to happen, that we can't make that calculation. But the tragedy is that we continue to replicate and duplicate that same kind of logic. And we got to free ourselves from those politics of respectability to say, whosoever will. This is what I love about the Black Lives Matter movement. This is what I love about younger generations that say, you got to take me as I am. This is what I love about hip hop. You know, the civil rights movement said, I'm going to cross over to you. Berry Gordy had to gear his sound to the ear of white America. So when he's looking in his studio and listening, he's trying to make sure that on your transistor radio, it doesn't come across as Watt Stacks. Doesn't come across as that loud pounding Southern music or that, you know, try a little tenderness, right? No, we're talking about the way you do the things you do. So he's gearing it to the white ear. And so this is what the civil rights generation did. Let's cross over and convince our white brothers and sisters that we're human. Hip hop said, let me tell you what, I really don't give a damn. You're going to have to cross over to me. And you do what you do, I do what I do, I am who I am. And it proved not only that it made them $1 billion industry, but that it really transformed some of the race relations among young white people who began to accept Black leadership, who began to think about Black culture in a different way.